Good morning live.
Good morning, Lebo, from the beautiful Mother City. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Let's talk about the nominees. What were the surprises for you this year, and what were the challenges in, 74 productions?
Yes, I have to say it's an absolute privilege for me to preside over the 50th Fleur de Cap Theatre Awards. As you can hear, by the time it's 50 years come round, we've done a lot of work in rewarding and acknowledging excellence in theatre in South Africa, and especially in the Western Cape. So the productions this year, as you said, 74 productions. 15 or so panel members have to go and see these productions, and I think this year was a relatively easy year. Normally it can range between 60 to 70 productions, and so the panel members really have to work hard. Literally, they're in the theatre 6 nights a week. And of course, it's about the people who perform on our stages. As you rightly said, 17 categories this year. In the past, it started with only 17 productions. Now we're up to about 100 productions. We used to have 6 panel members. We're up to 15 panel members right now. So you can see how things have increased over time. For me, one of the most exciting things this year in this process was the Best New South African Script. We had around 20 new scripts that were eligible in this category, and I think that's really exciting. That's starting to speak to how theatre in South Africa is being transformed, that it's not only pieces like a War Horse, which is an international piece, or even A Human Being Died That Night, that come into play in the theatre space here.
What for you was some of the productions that stood out for you? You've touched on War Horse. Death of a Colonialist also is at the top of my head, because I remember seeing it at the Market Theatre when it was in Johannesburg. Which for you are some of the productions that just stand out?
Well, for me, I agree. Jamie Bartlett was superb in Death of a Colonialist. There were a few, A Human Being Died That Night as well. I also thought the production Snow Goose was incredible. War Horse, of course, I can't not mention War Horse. Then some of the musical theatre, some of the comedy pieces were incredible. I also enjoyed Kayaletu Anthony in The Champion. I thought as a one-man show, he was incredible. He told the story of this man that we both loved and hate, this young, tortured, pained, yet joyful young man from, I suppose, a township that he called Khayelitsha.
Let's talk about the growth of the awards over the years. 50th Fleur de Cap Awards. Something was done right from the beginning, and the categories have grown since then. What do you think was done right?
I think we have looked at expanding theatre. We started out with about 6 theatre spaces in the old days, 1965, around there is when the Fleur de Cap started. And today we get to judge productions that are being put on in around 30, almost 20 theatres in around Cape Town and just outside of Cape Town as well. So theatre spaces have increased. You know, of course, that the creative sector is a very resource-strapped industry. It's a very tough sector to be part of, and so for me, in amongst all of that, we still have this incredible expansion and growth in the theatre. There have been some interesting new theatres that have shown up in Cape Town, like the Alexander Bar, for example. There have been a lot of community theatre spaces that have come to light, and I think that's part of what's been going right. I think it's also about becoming more inclusive. It's about, for example, the Stel Foundation, of which the Fleur de Caps is an initiative, has been promoting and sponsoring the Young Directors Bursary for a long while now. And some of that is starting to pay off. People like Tando Doni, who's also nominated this year, but he's been a recipient of the Bursary Award from the Stel.
All right, so the awards are happening on the 15th of March. What can we look forward to?
Well, I'm thrilled to say that Christopher Ware, who is a multiple Fleur de Cap Award winner, is going to be the director for the show. We will have Alan Committee, who hosts with us. I don't want to say too much because we don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I can say to you that we will be having an incredible evening of celebration of theatre, and I'm certainly looking forward to the kinds of people who will be attending the event. I know for a fact that we have some guests coming from overseas. David Bloomberg, who was one of the first Fleur de Cap panel members back in the day. So I think it's going to be really exciting for us to have him in the audience with us.
All right, Melanie, thank you so much for talking to us. Melanie Burke was speaking to us about the Fleur de Cap. She is the chairperson of the adjudicating panel of the 50th annual